Some people don't chase success because they're ambitious. They chase it because something inside them feels unsafe when they're still. And if that sentence made you pause, this video might be about you. You wake up early. You push yourself. You finish what others quit. People call you disciplined, but discipline isn't the full story. Because when you finally sit down, when the work is done, when there is nothing left to improve, you don't feel peace. You feel restless, almost exposed. Why? We're going to answer that. But first, let's name something uncomfortable. There are two kinds of achievement. One comes from inspiration. The other comes from anxiety. And they look identical from the outside. That's the dangerous part. High achievers rarely look distressed. They look impressive. But internally, something else is happening. Your mind doesn't celebrate wins. It scans for flaws. It replays mistakes. It calculates the next move. Even on vacation, even at dinner, even in silence. And here's the question that most high performers avoid. If you stopped achieving for 6 months, who would you be? Notice how your body reacts to that question. Tension? That's not laziness. That's identity threat. For many adults, achievement didn't start as ambition. It started as adaptation. Maybe you were praised when you excelled. Maybe you were noticed when you performed. Maybe you were compared. Maybe you were the strong one. Maybe mistakes felt heavier than they should have. Nothing dramatic, nothing cinematic, just subtle conditioning. Your nervous system made a quiet decision. Stay impressive. Stay ahead. Stay valuable. Because when you performed well, you felt connection, and the brain loves connection. Neuroscience shows that social approval activates reward pathways similar to physical rewards. Dopamine reinforces behaviors that bring validation, so your brain learns something powerful. Achievement equals relief. But here's what dopamine actually does. It fuels pursuit, not satisfaction. That's why the relief fades so quickly. You hit the goal, you feel good for a moment, then your mind moves the target again and again and again. This isn't greed, it's anxiety regulation. Your nervous system is trying to maintain safety through progress, but constant progress keeps cortisol slightly elevated. Low-grade stress becomes your normal baseline. You function well, but you rarely feel fully calm. Now, here's the part most people never say out loud. Sometimes your drive isn't about becoming successful, it's about not becoming invisible. Read that again, internally. Not invisible to others, invisible to yourself. Because when achievement becomes identity, you don't just do success, you become it. And that's fragile. Let me tell you a short story. A client once told me something that stayed with me. He had just been promoted. Big title, major salary increase. Everyone congratulated him. That night, he couldn't sleep. Not because he was excited, because he felt pressure. He said, "Now I have to prove I deserve it." That sentence explains everything. The promotion didn't feel like reward. It felt like exposure. Because when your worth is performance-based, every level up raises the fear of being found out. This is the anxiety behind achievement. It hides inside phrases like, "I just need to stay sharp. I can't afford to slow down. I'll rest after this quarter." But there's always another quarter. Now let's go deeper. High-functioning anxiety is socially rewarded. Overworking is praised. Perfectionism is admired. Self-sacrifice is romanticized. But internally, something erodes. Relationships feel secondary. Rest feels guilty. Vulnerability feels dangerous. You may struggle to admit confusion. You may struggle to say, "I don't know," because competence became your armor, and armor is heavy. Here's another uncomfortable truth. Some high achievers are terrified of being ordinary, not because ordinary is bad, but because ordinary feels unsafe. If love once felt conditional, if attention once followed performance, if approval once depended on excellence, then being average can feel like abandonment. Your adult mind knows better, but your nervous system remembers differently. That's why logic alone doesn't fix this.
You can understand it and still feel trapped in it. Now I want you to notice something subtle. When was the last time you did something slowly with no outcome attached? Not for growth, not for improvement, not for optimization, just because. If that feels unfamiliar, that's data, because anxious achievement eliminates purposeless joy. Everything becomes strategic, even self-care becomes productive. You meditate to improve focus, you exercise to maximize output, you read to gain advantage. Nothing is simply allowed to exist. That's not ambition, that's pressure. Now here's the shift. We're not trying to kill your drive, we're separating fear from fuel. Healthy achievement feels chosen, anxious achievement feels compulsory. Healthy ambition expands you, anxious ambition tightens you. So how do you begin loosening this pattern? Not with drastic changes, with subtle experiments. First, catch the moving goalpost. When you succeed, pause. Don't immediately upgrade the target. Let your nervous system register completion. Stay with the win for 60 seconds longer than usual. It will feel uncomfortable. That discomfort is withdrawal from urgency. Second, practice visible imperfection. Say, I'm not sure. Delegate without micromanaging. Submit something at 95%, not 110%. Your body will spike. That spike is not incompetence, it's identity recalibration. Third, build one area of your life where you are not exceptional, a hobby where you're average, a space where you're learning. This teaches your nervous system that belonging does not require dominance. And here's the deeper internal work. Ask yourself, if achievement was no longer my proof of worth, what would I be afraid people would see? Sit with that. That answer is the real work. Because beneath anxious achievement is often a younger part of you that learned love through performance. That part doesn't need more success, it needs reassurance. Now, I'm going to say something that may feel confronting. You are not anxious because you want too much. You are anxious because you don't feel safe with enough. Enough success, enough validation, enough rest, enough yourself. Safety isn't built through constant proving. It's built through nervous system regulation, through repetition, through experiences where you are valued without output. This is slow work, but it's freeing work. And if you're listening to this thinking, this is me, but I don't know how to stop, that's okay. You don't stop overnight. You become aware. Awareness disrupts autopilot. Autopilot drives anxious achievement. Conscious choice builds sustainable ambition. If this pattern feels deeply rooted or overwhelming, working with a licensed mental health professional can help unpack where it began and how to reshape it safely. There's strength in guided reflection. You don't need to abandon success. You just don't need to earn your existence through it. Achievement is powerful, but it was never meant to carry your identity. And the moment you stop running from invisibility, you realize something unexpected. You were never invisible. You were just afraid to be seen without armor. That's the anxiety behind achievement. And real success begins when achievement becomes expression, not protection.